We're gonna do something a little different today. This is an old snowblower I've had forever, and I've got a new one, but I didn't really want to get rid of this because these things just kind of run forever. If I remember right, the compression's a little weak, all that, but it might just be that the carburetor's kind of gunky. When I originally got it, I'll tell you the whole story. Okay, so I bought it at a garage sale for 25 bucks back in the 90s. Guy said it didn't run. I put a spark plug in it, ran like a champ, used it for 20 years. So, fast forward a little bit, it got left outside, and I went to use it one year, and the whole carburetor was full of ice. So I cleaned that out, fired it back up, everything was cool for a while. Anyway, one year it just wouldn't start. So I thought, screw it, I'm not messing with it anymore. There's the cats. Anyway, I'm not going to mess with it anymore, and I bought a new one. I bought a new Honda. So, but I didn't really want to get rid of this because these just work most of the time. What I'm going to do is tear it apart, see if we can get it to run so I can leave it out back here for this cement all around here, this giant pad. Bronco's out back here for the moment because we were going to wash it. But I kind of wanted a snowblower just for out back that I don't care if it if it sits outside kind of thing. So we're going to start messing with that. Let's tear it apart. First, let's see if there's any gas or not. It says 32 to 1. Looks like it's dry. So that's good. It was missing a few things, like it's missing one of these. I got one of those coming. First thing we're going to do is just tear this bottom cover off. They didn't make these where you could access a lot. First thing I got to do is undo these from here, and also these little screws. Then that whole bottom thing comes off. So I'm going to go get a couple tools and do that real quick. Steve is my helper. Be nice to Steve. Alright, so if you have one of these are all 5/16. There's 4 of them we got to take out. Actually, didn't even have to take 4 out, just the 2 on the bottom. As you can see, it's been outside for a minute, and every critter in the planet is probably living in here. So I'm going to get my little shop vac and clean all this out really quick before we do much more. We're going to use my handy dandy Milwaukee vacuum. If you don't have one of these are super cool. As you can see, these things are pretty simple. I have a kit coming. You can see this filter's got a bunch of sediment in it there on the bottom. So I'm going to change that. It has a new carburetor that comes with it, but I think I might just clean this one up. It depends. We'll see what's what. First thing I'm going to do is just kind of clean off these connections and such. Maybe check that spark plug. And yeah, we should be good to go. So I cleaned this up, cleaned the connections, cleaned this ground. Took this hose off, which is not real super healthy. That went here. Now this is the primer hose, and it goes down over here. That's all disconnected. I am now going to take the carburetor off. There's 2 nuts here, one here, one there. I believe that they are 10 millimeter. I'll find that out for sure and let you know. And then we'll take the spark plug out and see how that looks. Well, I thought I would tear the side cover off, and we got a little more cleaning to do. That belt's got some cracks in it. May or may not replace it. We just want to see if it's going to run first. So I think I'll vacuum all this shit out and go from there. Okay, so these are 10 millimeter. There's one on each side. Alright, carb is off, spark plug is out. That's a little dirty, I would think. Like I say, I do have a new one coming, but I might try and clean this. I know it sounds crazy, but that's probably what I'll do. All right, got a couple other things I need to fix. There was a piece of plastic that was broke here that I need to fix. Like I say, belt's a little tacky, but we'll see if it runs first before we replace that. And just kind of straighten this out. Whoever had it before me ran the paddles all the way down. I remember that. To where the ground off part of the spinner wheel thing. So I put new paddles on it, I don't know how long ago. They're still good. The scraper, I think, is still good. So really it's just a matter if it runs. Let's take this in and kind of tear it apart. All right, first thing, I'm going to screw around with this. There's another little piece of plastic broke off here. You see this is all bent up. So I'm going to straighten that out. This little bolt has been kind of ground off on the side here. So we'll take that out. See if we can straighten this up a little bit. That's pretty minor. Then I'm going to get my carburetor somewhat tore apart. I do have a new one coming, but you never know whether they're great or not. So I'm going to probably take this apart and then take my ultrasonic cleaner and let it blast it for a minute. Like I say, that bolt's a little shaved, so we'll probably find a new one of those. And I don't know where this goes exactly, but we'll probably glue that back in place. It's not too bad it shaved all this off, but I think it'll be fine. I have a welder, but I'm not going to get that carried away with it. Main thing I want to do is make sure it runs. Okay, so I gave it a little bit of a bath so I could stand to touch the thing. Let's take the float bowl off and see if that helps us at all. That's 13 millimeter, by the way, in case you're working on one. It's got a little gunk in there. What do you think? Maybe we can pull this out. So there's a little pin right here that holds that float. That's got to come out of here. There is a little tiny spring right here that goes through there, and it kind of hooks into the float right there on the side. This will come out. And that spring kind of hooks in that little hole right there too. I know that's kind of hard to see, but so we'll be really careful. Actually, it hooks into the gasket, looks like. Yeah, that was kind of underneath the gasket, sort of. So I'll put that to the side. There isn't a whole lot to these. Matter of fact, I can't see where I can even get this little orifice tube thing out of the middle here. So I'm just going to kind of leave that together. I will take this off. I remember doing this before, cleaning all this up. Like I say, last time I did it, I had ice in here, but I think this might be worse. Oh, there's my needle and seat. Didn't even see that. Let's take that off, because we can. Boy, maybe not. Okay, that's a T20. It's not going to do a whole lot of good to take that off, but I figure what the hell, right? A little gasket here. Yeah, I think if we put that in that cleaner, I think that will help us immensely. Before I do that, I'm going to scrape all this shit out of here, because that doesn't need to go in there. That is oil, so I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. Could be I just had it mixed too rich. and it evaporated, and it's been sitting there for a couple of years. I'm hoping that's the deal. But yeah, that all came out. Good deal. Any other dirt and such, that fancy cleaner thing I got, we'll get rid of that. All right, I'm gonna get that cleaner out and set it there and let it do its thing. All right, I just filled this with Super Clean. I've used this before for this type of stuff, and it works pretty dang good. My parts washer, I've got Purple Power in it. I think they're kind of similar, but this seems to be a little stronger sometimes. I'm gonna let this run for about 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and check it out. So I got my new kit, gaskets on there. There's enough fuel line and whatnot to replace everything, and it needs it. So I'm gonna replace that fuel line. It's got a new one of these, and it's also got a new one of these here too. It's not quite as long, so I might end up reusing this hose. This hose looks to be fine. Might just have to snip a little piece of it off. Anyway, I'm gonna slap that carburetor on real quick and get it on there. I was gonna reuse the old one, but I'll show you why I didn't. All right, here's the old carburetor. The reason I'm not gonna use this is I put it in some degreaser and it turned the thing all white. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm pretty sure that it's eating some stuff on the inside, because it ate some of the, here, let's see if I can show you. It kind of ate away right here a little bit. I just think it was on there so long and something reacted with something else. And all it is degreaser, it's just that Purple Power stuff, or Super Clean, excuse me. Anyway, that's going in the trash. Kind of worked out a little weird there. So that just sits like so. There is a rod down here I need to kind of snake through, this little butterfly deal. And then there's a spring that goes on here also. I'm going to need both hands, so I'll come back when I have that on. Carburetor's on, just sitting there. I haven't tightened these up yet. It also came with this no-name spark plug. I did check the height on it. I'm not too jacked about that, but we'll see if it works. We may end up replacing that. It came with a new primer deal, which is right here, and it came with some new hose. I think I'm going to snip that because there's a little fitting, that little gold deal right there where this goes to, and I just don't think you need all of that. So I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to go grab a 10mm wrench so I can tighten up the carburetor, and I'll be back. Okay, I tightened the carburetor up. I did have to rob this off the old one. I did notice, I took this bowl off, and I did notice that it doesn't have a spring that goes on the float. I tried to kind of put it on, but it doesn't really want to fit. We will see if this leaks or not from overfilling. It really shouldn't. The way they work, the float goes up and the needle's on the top, so that should be fine. But I read in some of the reviews where the carburetor leaked. There was only a couple, but just wanted to be sure. Anyway, if I need to, I'll make that spring fit if I need it. Next thing is to get this old hose off. So I'm gonna take that off really quick. Well, that hose pretty well just fell off, so that wasn't tough. Like I say, they do give you a bunch more hose. There's a big wad of hose here. So I'm gonna get that to length, put this new, what do you call it, filter in it. Then we should be good to fire it. So it's back together. I just put some fuel in it. Pretty simple. Hopefully this works. Let's see. I don't know if that's doing anything. We're going to prime it. I think I pushed it a bunch, but we'll see. So that's choked. I didn't want to put the back cover on just until we figured out if it was going to start or not. I'm going to put the back cover on. I'm going to put the back cover on just until we figured out if it was going to start or not. So that's choked. I didn't want to put the back cover on just until we figured out if it was going to start or not. So I'm going to set my phone up here somewhere and see if this thing will do what it's supposed to do. And just remember, this thing has an electric starter. So we're going to try and do this the easy way and see if it'll start. Maybe. Well, that don't sound good. Well, the starter works, but it doesn't sound like it's engaging. Well, let's try and pull start it, I guess. Moment of truth. Let's see if it'll start. All right, that worked. Pretty cool. Starter is history, we think. I'm going to give a shot to trying to get that fixed. But that's it for this video, now that we got it running. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.